Okay, today I want to talk about surveillance and our go to back to work strategy. I did a video where I went through a thought exercise about using testing to help us go back to work, and I illustrated how, scaling that to a national level would be just a huge undertaking. And the conclusion supported Dr. Fauci that we can't test our way out of this problem. Well, my thinking was flawed in that I was thinking about this as a serial process. Testing first, then contact tracing, and quarantining. Obviously it would be a circle, but that's the wrong way to think about it. And maybe a lot of us are thinking that way because all we keep hearing is we need to test more, we need to test more. There's an article yesterday in The Atlantic called "The Technology That Could Free America from Quarantine," written by Derek Thompson. Fantastic article, great writing, great piece of technical journalism, making it user-friendly. It begins with a very simple first-person story of what this could look like and what it does look like in other countries. So I highly, highly recommend it. I'll put a link in my description. What is this? People use their apps on their phones, and there are different countries implementing it in different ways, but most of them are using GPS and uploading your position data to a server. There's one that might have been in Singapore. The phones are speaking to one another via Bluetooth, sharing anonymous ID, and then if you test positive, they use your phone to see what other phones were in the vicinity of your travels, and those people are notified for them to get testing, that sort of thing. The others obviously are uploading to a server and tracking if person A tests positive for the virus, then all the other people are notified. Some get a little hairy. Okay, one country is literally taking to the point that if you are flagged, your phone would notify you, hey, you need to get tested. If you're flagged, if you're one of those people, you can't go into a grocery store, you can't go into a restaurant, you probably can't go to work. So yeah, that's pretty intrusive. Another location, maybe the same country, people have access to this information, so they're using it for public shaming. If your neighbor tests positive for the coronavirus, you're angry at him because he's spreading it to other people, so you go online and you post it and you publicly shame him. So that's obviously a big problem. But, we all are familiar with the post 9/11 world, the Patriot Act, and the learn that the NSA is collecting, and they still are, to my knowledge, all of our emails, all of our phone conversations, all of our texting. So all of the communications and messaging that's going on in the United States, the NSA is collecting that. So a lot of that's going on now already anyway. We know that Google is using our GPS information for traffic, but they're also using it for a lot of other things, for marketing. And recently someone did a illustration, a model of how the virus went from the beaches of Florida during spring break to different parts of the country. What did they use? They used GPS data. So they took all the phones that were located on the beach and then they traced their movement. Now, is that anonymous? How easy is it to crack anonymity? But, so the whole idea of testing our way out of this problem is not manageable. But if you have surveillance and testing work together, setting aside all those concerns, it's something that could work. In this country, he cites an MIT computer scientist who is working on an app that he calls the Ways for the Sick. It seems like it might be more of a voluntary, not a mandatory. I'm not sure about that. But it tracks people's movements, and if someone tests positive and they enter that person's information into the Waze app, if you will, then it tells everybody else who's on it, hey, somebody was sick and here's where they were. It can show, and even in the article it shows that they can show you hotspots, so places to avoid. What's that do to your economy, right? You're running a restaurant, somebody comes in, has a meal, they leave, later they're found to be positive. Suddenly nobody will come into your restaurant because there was a guy that was positive, even though it's after the fact. So Yeah, it's raising a lot of issues, but this is going to be a part of our postmortem, I'm certain. We need to look at the decision making. We really need to know what went into these models, the way they're performing, and we need to get into the preparedness of the federal level, the state level, the city, the hospital, everything. The more populated areas, the hotspots need to be better prepared. So, a lot of postmortem needed. Right now is not the time. We're in the middle of this battle, and so big part of our postmortem. Looking forward to that phase. Thanks for watching. If you found anything of value, then please subscribe, share, like, and I'll talk to you soon.